Hello everybody and welcome back to Buckeye Readers Chat. I'm Nicole.
I'm Krista.
And today we want to talk to you about poetry. So April is National Poetry Month, and so we have a variety of books with poetry in them that we'd love to talk to you about today. Krista, are you much of a poetry reader?
Not a lot. I do have a particular poet I like, Helen Steiner Rice. She's a faith-based poet and grew up reading her poetry, but not a lot.
What is it about certain poems that you do find appealing?
Inspire, intriguing, humorous. Yeah, just something that just catches my attention. It might not be something specific, but
right.
What about yourself?
I find poetry that's relatable to be very enjoyable. Poems that I can really connect with, the emotions are easy to connect with, is helpful to me. I think sometimes people struggle when they don't feel like they're connecting with the poetry or they're not understanding it. So that can be a big reason why people are turned off by poetry. But I think there's a lot of great poetry out there that we do connect with. So
Agree.
You were telling me about a really funny book that you stumbled upon. Would you like to share that one with us?
Absolutely. The book is I Could Pee on This by Francesco Marciuliano. And it's written by a cat. From cat's perspective, crazy, neurotic, genius cats. And they go through different scenarios. And one that caught my attention is Just the Two of Us. There is nothing like long, direct, intense, awkward, unfortunate eye contact to help us see that maybe you put my litter box. Check out the book and find out where the cat's litter box is.
Very nice. I'm sure a lot of people with cats completely understand many of the poems in that book. So who else do you have here? What else do you have here?
Shel Silverstein, an author of the cartoons, stories, poems, juvenile nonfiction, a lot of great different poems.
I grew up reading him, all of those books. Those are my favorite. So any in there that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, one about library finds.
All right.
Overdues. What do I do? What do I do? This library book is 42 years overdue. I admit that it's mine, but I can't pay the fine. Should I turn it in? Or should I hide it again? What do I do? What do I do?
Well, I think we know the answer to that.
Turn it in.
Turn it
back.
And come talk to us. We want you to use the library. That was great. So we do also have a variety of poetry books in the library that will help introduce you to poetry. We have this great children's introduction to poetry that you can check out. Maybe you're looking for a way to kind of help introduce your children to poetry. They're also really great books, I think, for anybody to get introduced to poetry as well. We do also have a great selection in our adult area as well. This book in particular, How to Read a Poem and Fall in Love with Poetry, is also in our nonfiction area. And I think if you're looking for ways to learn to love poetry, this might be the book for you. Or if you already love poetry and you're looking for new ways to experience it and explore it, this would be another good option. I also have some great books by Sharon Creech.
Look like fun books.
Who is a juvenile writer, and she typically writes juvenile fiction. These two books are written especially in prose the whole way through, and they're about a boy named Jack. The first book is Love That Dog. The second book is Hate That Cat. And in the first book, Jack thinks that poetry is only meant for girls to write because it's a very emotional way to write, and so that's what he thinks. And he discovers that that's not necessarily true. And then we have Hate That Cat, where we get to visit with Jack again. So,
very nice. I need to check them out.
Yeah. We also have a lot of great books on learning to write poetry. So if you love reading it, but you've always kind of wanted to explore how to write it yourself, we've got some great books in our nonfiction area for that as well. So our poetry you'll typically find in the 811s, and then the books on learning to write poetry is going to be in the 808. So those are the Dewey Decimal numbers that you're going to want to look for.
Good reminder.
So, yep. So thank you so much for joining us about poetry. Let us know if you have a favorite poem or a favorite author who writes poetry, and we'd love to hear from you. So we'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.